Hey, it's a new day. This is nice, kind of. This is the first day since we've been on the trail in over a month that we have woken up to cloudy skies. So, that might mean a respite from the sun. It might mean rain, which we haven't seen any of except just, a dinky little bit yesterday, just not even enough to really get our clothes fully wet. Although close. So anyway, we'll see. That's the new thing to deal with. Might not think about it, but there's quite a routine when you're just living in your tent every day. And I do most of my routine outside of the tent. It's easier to be up and around when you're eating and et cetera, anyway. And when it rains, of course you have to do everything inside your tent, so you just you get to camp, you throw your tent up real fast, you dive inside, you try to dry everything as best you can, keep everything as dry as possible while you're doing the whole process, and then you're inside together trying to finagle around that little space to do everything you need to do, kind of sort your stuff and get your dinner and change into your different clothes and clean up and etc. So anyway, none of that may happen today, but certainly it's going to happen eventually, and today could be the day. I also had the thought this morning that, even though I didn't quite make it up Mount Whitney, which is quite a disappointment, and it's just stupid, had I just brought some rain gear, I would have easily just made it up there. But anyway, even though I didn't quite make it up there, that is the highest elevation that I will be at this entire Pacific Crest Trail hike. I think the highest point on the trail is, 13,210 or something like that. We might actually even be doing that soon over Forester Pass, but I'll have to check all that out. But anyway, it's real close to that, so I was definitely hundreds and hundreds of feet over that yesterday. So I actually felt surprisingly well doing it. I mean, I was for sure out of breath, but I was moving really fast and I was just power breathing, and it all worked out, so it gives me promise for the rest of this. Now, the rest of the Sierras that we're going through, which is going to take, a while, a couple weeks, is just up and down and up and down, up and down. So, I was looking yesterday, and either today or tomorrow we do Forester Pass, which is a 13,000 foot thing, and then we do, we just continuously are going over these various passes that are 12,000, 13,000, 11,000, occasionally a 10,000 will get thrown in there, an easy one. And we do a multitude of those. I don't know how many it is. It's many, 10 or more before we get out of the Sierra. So every day is going to be another big old climb until we get into Northern California. Well, this is the John Muir Trail, and we've been walking on it since well, the Whitney Trail is John Muir Trail, so that's one end is Mount Whitney, and so I'm not sure how many miles, but it's a long ways, all the way north for days and days and days. We'll be walking on the PCT and the John Muir Trail, and there's one little section where the John Muir Trail peels off and does its own thing and then comes back, but anyway, just interesting. Time for another river crossing, so socks come off, shoes go back on. We try to squeeze the shoes out and put the socks back on when we get across. Sorry, but I need both of my hands, so I can't video this while I'm going across. Well, that wasn't too bad. The current seemed pretty strong, but it's really not bad at all. Well, we're taking a little shorter day today than normal, although not much shorter. But we're climbing up right now to Forester Pass Approach, is what they call it. Just a place where a lot of people tent, so they can go over the pass tomorrow. But we're probably not going to go all the way up there. And then tomorrow we'll go over Forester Pass. We'll go down. There should be quite a lot of snow on the north side, so we'll have to deal with that. And then we will work our way towards Kearsarge Pass, which is not on the PCT, but it's how we have to exit to get to resupply. So it's quite a deal. We have to do the pass, which is like 8 miles or something, and then you get to this kind of road where I think there's a campground maybe, and you try to hitch into either Independence or Bishop, and it's not an easy hitch at all. Not many people there, so anyway, it's a difficulty, and it could end up taking us, a couple of days to get all the way where we need to get to resupply. Then we'll probably take a 0-day wherever we end up, Independence or Bishop, and then from there we'll have to turn around and do it all backwards, and it's difficult to find a hitch out to get all the way out to Kearsarge Pass from one of those towns. So we'll probably have to pay a shuttle, take us out, and then hike the 8 miles over Kearsarge again, and to get back to the PCT so we can start up again. So it feels like a lot of wasted time to do that, but hey, when you're way up in the mountains like this, there are no choices. Well, it's about 1:30 or something like that anyway. Lots of clouds. We're just getting a few drops, and so we decided to just set up the tent. There it is, and we are gonna call it a day. Try to recuperate from our big long hike yesterday and be ready for tomorrow. Setting up the tent seemed like a really good idea, and now it seems like an even better idea. Good morning. We're just taking off. We're heading towards Forester Pass. We've got 3-ish miles, a couple thousand feet to climb, so it won't be super easy, but once we get up over Forester, we expect to see the first large amount of snow we've seen probably since Baden-Powell when we went up that. And we're not sure. We may need to use our crampons. We may be able to glissade, slide down a big portion of it. Look at that bright sun coming up. We don't really know, but we're going to find out. And then we'll be heading just a few more miles to exit off the trail across Kearsarge Pass, like I was explaining yesterday, and then trying to get into the town of Independence, maybe to Bishop. We don't expect to be able to get all the way into town today, but it's actually possible. So, we're planning on tenting somewhere out there. I'll let you know how it goes. Beautiful, crazy, beautiful morning, huh? All this snow melt has created these pools down here in this kind of bog, and these streams that are all over that are not on the map of this snow melt. Kind of amazing. This is absolutely unreal. Unreal. All right, well, this is where we've been heading today. I believe right there is Forester Pass. It could be that little notch right over there, but I'm pretty sure it's that. And we're gonna get up here and go past a little pond, and then we're just gonna start zigzagging up the rocks for a couple of miles, mile and a half, till we get over the top and see how much snow's on the other side. Lots of ice on these ponds. So we've pretty much figured out that that's Forester Pass, the little thin notch. Oh, right in there. And you can actually see barely like an angle there. It goes up where the trail is to that snow right there. Then it goes up that way. There's actually some people, really tiny people, way out there, right underneath that splotch of snow. If you can see them, I doubt it. But anyway, we'll be heading up the side of that mountain somehow. I don't know how they made a trail in that. Well, here's our last water source before we go over the pass. And there's a little snow bridge still here. Snow bridges can be super dangerous, as you might expect. But this one's small. I'm just gonna go quick and be careful. All right, here we go. People up on top right this minute, going right through. So here in a little while, in 1 mile, we'll have to be up there climbing that snow like they are. Now that we're up quite a ways, you can see the trail walls up here to the right. You can see how they go up the cliff. If you look really closely for the stacked rocks, just going back and forth. See those trails going up until they head all the way over. I honestly can hardly, until they head all the way over to the pass. Ah, it's a Yeti. Well, that's the pass right there where you can see the light. We just have to go up a couple more tiers to get around there. Okay, we're at 13,000 feet right now. And Forester Pass is 13,120, so we are almost there. And before we go around the corner, I just want to show you where we came from. There's some stuff going on down there. You can see a little bit of the trail there crisscrossing, going. If you look in close, you can actually see the trail going across the snow there and there. And you can actually see it out in the dirt out there. Going back, it's where we came from, some of the snow fields we crossed, and back off that way, some of the lakes and ponds and things that we saw along the way. So anyway, gotta put this thing away so we can get up there. All right, so there's the snow that we saw way down there. I thought we were gonna have to go up, but no, we cross here, and we go up, and you can see they've built a little bit of trail going up there, and that's how we get to the top. So, thank goodness, not as death-defying as I was thinking. Hallelujah. That's where we came from, and that's where we're going. You can see the path down through there. Might put our crampons on to get down, we'll see. Neat to see the other side. Okay, we're heading down. Got the crampons on. Want to be careful not to stab yourself in the leg with those while you're walking down. Anyway, we've got this snowfield we've got to get through. And, you know, don't really want to wipe out and slide down the hill or whatever. So put the crampons on and we'll get through. And then when we get back to the rocks, we will take them off. All right, we are down from the snow, and look at those clouds and the mist. How amazing. Wow. And that's where we came from. If you look really closely, you can see up where the mountain makes a V, the line where we started to come down through the snow. Anyway, hopefully we're done with the snow now. We're not positive that we are. We'll see.
Did we take off the crampons?
We stopped back there and took off our shoes, and I changed my socks since they were wet and put our crampons away. And in the meantime, the clouds, you know, since we're up so high, they've just been moving around. These are no kind of clouds to worry about. They're just low clouds, but they're flying through. You can see how fast they're moving. And they're just, I mean, they've changed 20 times since we've been sitting there putting our shoes on. You know, all of a sudden, this mountain's totally obscured. And 3 minutes later, you can see it clearly. And then that mountain back there is totally obscured. And it's just, they're just kind of spinning all around in this vortex, in this bowl. I don't know if you guys are getting tired of all this video of just, without me saying much, but every time we turn the corner, it's like more amazing than it was just 3 minutes ago. Okay, I'm back again. We've only gone like 0.2 miles since the last video, but look at that. We've seen nothing like that. A snowmelt pond that is bluer than blue can be, and absolutely clear. Like you can just see every rock down inside to the bottom. It is just amazing. My gosh. And on that background, all day we started out walking through these little dinky snow melt streams, and we'd see where a couple of them would combine, and make a little bigger one, and we'd walk along, and there's water just pouring out of the side of the mountain, and here and there and everywhere. And gradually we've seen the streams get bigger and bigger as we've had to cross them, and creeks combine, etc., coming down the mountain. And now this is kind of what it's come to. This thing is hellacious, and I don't know if it's going to continue to get bigger, but we're almost at the bottom of the canyon. This huge canyon we've been walking through for hours now, and we're kind of concerned, wondering when we're going to have to cross this river. It's gotten a lot bigger. Look at the little bear right there.
Show me.
It's brown. That's weird. You don't see cinnamon bears around here. Hardly ever. Hey. So he doesn't seem very concerned about us. I wonder if he's young enough that Mama's around or not.
See, I thought I saw movement up there. That's what I was looking.
Yeah, we're looking, but we don't see anything. Hey, buddy. Let's get going. That was pretty amazing. First bear we've seen out here this year. He seemed young enough that Mom might be nearby, but we didn't see anybody, so or anything. Well, we came from down there where we saw the bear, and we've got 1,650 feet to climb in 2 miles, and we've been barely moving. It's killing us. It's really hard in this air, this altitude, to move very fast when it's so steep. But anyway, we just stopped for a second, turned around, and looked, and that's all we saw. Like, wow. Amazing. Okay, the PCT's just right back there between the rocks going this way. And we just left it to head up to Kearsarge Pass. It'll be about 7.5 miles for us to get out to the Onion Valley Campground, where we can hopefully figure out how to get a ride into Independence, where they have public transportation that will take us to this town of Bishop, where we will resupply and have some town food and maybe take a zero. We've discussed it. We'll see. But we're not doing all that tonight. We're just going to go a little ways. And a little ways might mean right here. But we're definitely, well, I don't know. We're thinking we might not hike out of the tree line, though, so we can camp in the tree line. But we might. We have no idea what we're doing. Bye. Well, we got some water last night right down the creek very close here, and we climbed up in the rocks and found a good little space to get our tent set up, kind of wedge it in somewhere. It worked out okay, but we started to notice a little bit of a smoke smell, and I don't know if that's smoke or fog, but as the night got a little bit later, it got worse and worse, and pretty soon, I mean, this whole canyon was filled. You could smell it thick in the tent. The sky was orange off in that direction, and of course, we got a little concerned, but we weren't super concerned because we are almost at the tree line. I mean, we really are at the tree line, and we are heading this way to go over a pass this morning, and we'll be there in 30 minutes, you know. So we knew that there was a fire, and we knew it was far off that direction. And we also knew we could just pack our stuff up at a moment's notice and just head, and you know, in an instant we were going to be outside of any trees, and there's hardly any trees here anyway where we're at. So anyway, we weren't super concerned, just, you know, not wanting to breathe smoke all night long. But, well, we even thought about last night about taking off and just hiking in the dark and getting over the pass, and then we'd be out of this bowl. But anyway, we woke up this morning, there's no smoke smell. Again, I don't know, that's probably fog down there, but it might be smoke. We don't know what the deal is. We have no cell service or anything like that, so there's no way to know, but maybe we'll find out when we head into town today. Well, it's a very cold morning, but beautiful. You can probably see back there. There's some people coming up behind us. A guy in front of us, some people that we'd met yesterday. We're all heading into town, so maybe we'll be able to share the cost of a shuttle ride or something. It got very cold last night, and it's cold this morning. Also, as we started hiking away from our camp area and getting a little higher, you can absolutely smell the smoke. And we crossed paths with the guy. He was going the other way, going back to the trail. And so he'd been in town, and he said that there'd been some big Fresno fires, and that they've evacuated somewhere near that. I have no idea what that means. I don't even know where Fresno is in relation to here. So when we get in town, I'll check that out. But it appears that there was not any danger out here whatsoever. It wasn't, you know, super close or anything like that. But obviously the smoke is an issue, and it's got my lungs kind of screaming this morning. So anyway, we're getting pretty high up, and should be up to the pass in a little while and over this other side, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, here we are, coming up over Kearsarge Pass. Last little bit. It's the last we'll see of the canyon. What a remarkable couple of days it's been going through that canyon in Kings Canyon National Park. Beautiful, magical. Leaving Kings Canyon National Park now. All right. Wow, look at this. All right, we've been hiking about 3 hours. Excuse me, about 3 hours this morning, and we had a total of 6 miles to do. Just a mile and a half up to the Kearsarge Pass, and then 4.5 down to this parking lot, and we are dreading coming back because in a day or two when we come back, we got to go back up this thing, and it's all up, and it has taken us so long. You know, we expected it to not take quite so long to come down. It's going to take way longer to go up. So, you know, what we thought might take us, you know, half a day or less to get back on trail is going to take us maybe a full entire day. which is okay, except, you know, all this hiking, none of it's on the PCT. None of it's getting us anywhere down the road. So it doesn't really affect anything other than just maybe your mental, you know, motivation. But anyway, as we've been coming up today, or coming down to this parking lot, to this trailhead to try to get a ride into town, there have been scores of people coming back up. You know, that a day or two ago came into town and doing what we're doing now. Now they're going back to the trail. And there's not a resupply for quite a ways from here. So all these people have, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 days worth of food in their packs. Their packs are heavy. They're slogging uphill. They look miserable. And we're just like, we have to do this in a couple of days? Yuck. So anyway, once we get down to the parking lot, we'll put that out of our minds and we'll only be thinking about eating town food. Yes, you probably couldn't hear Tiger Lily, but she answered for me. Food and shower, yes. Because I'm tired of smelling her. Ah! All right, we're almost there.